every new Oliver travel trailer leaves the plant fully sealed. We use an exterior white silicone to make sure we seal everything up good and tight to make sure there are no water leaks. Now, with every silicone, with every caulk, time and the different environments will eventually cause it to break down. Once it starts to break down, you'll notice that it either starts to chalk or it'll start to crack. Once that happens, you can have a water leak. Now, we typically recommend that you inspect your trailer at least once a year and re-caulk as necessary. You may notice that some of the components or some of the windows seem to be okay. Other things may need to be re-caulked. Now, there are two methods to re-caulking the camper. The biggest issue is the prepping of it. You'll definitely want to make sure that the surface is as clean as possible before you apply the new silicone. Now, most people would typically wipe down, clean the area, and simply apply a new bead of silicone or caulk over the existing that's already there. What we actually like to do when we do it, if you actually come back in for our yearly maintenance package, we'll actually clean it. We will take a plastic razor blade and actually scrape all of the old caulk silicone off, clean it again, and then apply the new silicone in place. Either way is fine. It's more of a preference, I would say, but eventually, if you keep applying over the old stuff, eventually you are going to have to most likely go ahead and clean everything back out. Now, this is a brand new 2020 model camper we're looking at here, and if you'll notice at the very edge of the window, a nice neat bead of caulk. You can still see the white silicone as it goes around the window. And for the window, it's honestly more of an aesthetic, a look to kind of finish the window off, because the windows are actually sealed with a butyl tape that goes in behind the flange of the window, and it seals back behind between the fiberglass and the metal window itself. Now, even though this is an aesthetic, we still recommend to go ahead and silicone the outside. It gives you that extra layer of protection as well. Of course, you'll also want to silicone around everything on the outside of the camper. You're talking about your porch lights. It's not just around the outside edges either, because anywhere that you have any type of penetration through the hole, you're going to have the potential for a water leak. So as here, you have two screws that hold the porch lights in place. Those screws would potentially over time also allow a water leak to get inside the camper. A lot of times what you'll have is a water leak that gets in between, because we use a double hull, an inside and an outside shell basically. If it gets in between the shells, then it can kind of run anywhere. That depends on how much water is entering the camper. It depends on how level the camper is. You're talking about front to back, side to side. That water can kind of run in a different direction. You also have, of course, wiring and different things in between the holes, and water can attach to those and basically run the length of the camper before it finally finds what I would call a way out. It's either looking for a way out of the camper or a way into the camper. If everything works as we hope it does, then it's going to find its way into the lower shell and out the weep holes, not creating any issues for you. However, if it does get inside the camper, anywhere across the roof line, anywhere above these windows, and it gets to the window itself, then you do potentially have an issue to where it can get inside the camper. It doesn't mean that the window itself is leaking, but it means you do have a water leak somewhere. Now, with the windows, of course, you also have the weep holes, because it is natural. It's the way that the manufacturer has these windows designed. When you do have rain, rain's going to come down, it's going to fill the water tracks up. This white weather strip here will deflect some of it, but some of it is going to get inside in the water track. Should weep to the outside. If you're inside the camper when it's raining, you can actually look down in and see water coming into the water track, but it should never overflow into the camper. If it does, that may be more of a maintenance type issue, to where you just need to clean the water track out, make sure these weep holes are good and clean. You can pull this weather strip up and out as well to take a look and make sure it's good and clean on the inside, because as things build up inside, it doesn't allow the water to leak out. Then the water's naturally going to go to the inside of the camper. Now we do have another video that shows the maintenance of the windows. Definitely check that out. As far as the caulking silicone of the outside of the camper, again, we recommend you do that, inspect it, and re-caulk about once a year. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you've learned something about your Oliver travel trailer, and please be sure to check us out online at olivertraveltrailers.com.